Attention!
Welcome to the Film Mages Podcast, where the popcorn is our ammunition, the couch is our foxhole, and the cinema is our place of worship.
Now let me see your war face. Ah!
And we're back, folks.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, how you doing?
Welcome back to the Film Majors. Listeners,
That's
I hope
so
you
good.
had a fantastic Memorial
Me
Day
too.
weekend.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
Oh
know
my
this,
gosh.
but I'm actually early for once. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Alexis got us
I know.
kicked off early
I know.
today.
It's a refreshing change.
I bet you guys were
pretty-
wondering what's going on.
Wow. We
there
didn't even
it is.
introduce ourselves
I
yet.
know, we didn't
it
do
gets
it yet.
earlier and earlier
Earlier
every
and
time.
earlier.
I'm Zach, by the way.
I'm Mick.
I'm Alexis.
She sure is. Well, Alexis, you jumped this segment off. What's going on with you?
Oh, I watched another movie with Adam Driver in it. So,
Wouldn't
Yes,
have
you
expected
did.
anything less.
That's right,
Right.
on brand.
I watched Hungry Hearts, which is a 2014 movie that he won the Volpe Cup for Best Actor in Italy. I don't even remember where the fuck that is, but
Manjo Banjo.
Manjo Banjo.
Manjo
Capiche?
Banjo. It's like the crazy baby lady movie, and I totally get it now because she's crazy with a baby. So
Makes sense.
That sounds about right.
I also watched a crazy baby lady movie.
Oh, was that last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I watched. It's maybe a little reductive to call it that, but also it's kind of descriptive. I watched Resurrection, starring Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth.
And Grace Kaufman, excuse me.
Grace Kaufman, who you want to give us your little fun trivia fact?
I
Mick?
guess, yeah. The Grace Kaufman who co-stars in this film worked on the first movie I ever worked on and gifted me my pet fish,
Yeah,
Matisse. My pet
Matisse.
fish.
That's what
I
you
didn't-
named him.
I did not name my fish, by the way. She named it, and I figured a fish is like a boat, which is it's bad luck to rename it, so I kept it as Matisse.
Well,
Yeah.
it's worked out so far because Matisse is still
He's
alive.
still alive. Yeah, that was 4 years ago. Anyways, that's my little story.
Yeah. I really liked Resurrection. I found it
nice.
deeply unsettling.
I'll have to check it out. The more you say it, the more you talk about it, the more it seems interesting. I walked out on it because I was tired. But
Yeah, if I had seen that last year, that would have been definitely a contender for my top 15.
2022, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry, Alexis, you were saying Hungry Hearts.
Hungry Hearts. I don't know. Like, what else is there to say than Adam Driver's great?
Other than Adam Driver's fingers, what is there to say?
No,
Was he brooding in this one?
There was like a lot of fucking tension because, like, to me, there's nothing like more scary than like a woman who, or just a person, I guess I should say, that won't take care of their child or like is taking care of them in a very like toxic way. Like, if you've ever heard of people with like Munchausen by proxy, that shit's like kind of terrifying, but yeah, so it was just like there'd be like these little moments of reprieve where you're like, oh, at the very least, like, he loves her, she loves the baby, but then like everything else is around this tension of like, is this baby gonna fucking survive being in this household, basically,
That sucks.
You would be very frightened by Resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I actually saw a few movies this week.
what else did you
Wow.
watch?
Well done.
Oh, whatchamacallit, I did also go see, after our last recording, I went to go see Blackberry.
Oh, I watched that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually really liked it. I don't know.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I think I liked it more than you did, Zach.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, if we're going by star
If we're
reviews,
going
then
by
I
our star
definitely
rating
did.
on Letterboxd,
Alexis and I
yeah.
both enjoyed it more than you did.
I thought it was quite good. I think there were little bits of it that lost me, but overall I had a good time.
Yeah, I think there was
Alexis,
like...
what did you think of it?
I think that there was like maybe like a couple like pacing issues like throughout where I was like, oh, I feel like it's kind of losing like its momentum. But in general, like I really enjoyed like the humor and like the zoom in on when he's like, all you fucking little boys are all fucking playing with all your fucking penises, and it zooms in on the one girl.
Oh, that was
that's
hilarious.
Like, yeah. So
that was hilarious.
My whole family went to go see that movie because my mom insisted that this movie was so good that she came with us to see it for the second time, and it was like,
Oh, she had seen it already.
she'd already
Dolores
seen it, and she'd been trying to
Wow.
convince all of us to go see this movie. And so then it was
Dolores,
like,
if you're listening, we love you.
yeah, it was me, my mom, my nephew, my niece, my sister, and my other nephew. Like all of us, we took up like a whole row.
Nice.
But it was, yeah, we had a really good time. I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to see what else he does, I guess. Matt Johnson. I really enjoyed him as the friend.
Yeah, I wrote in my review that he was, to me, the star of the movie, Matt Johnson. Not because of his performance as Doug, but because of his direction.
I didn't love Jay's wigs.
Jay Baruchel's white wig.
Yeah, I didn't love them. You know how I am about hair sometimes? I did not love the wig.
I do.
Yeah. It was interesting. Great performance from him, though.
Yeah.
Holy cow. He really had one hell of an arc. But I mean, we got to talk about the one and only Glenn Howard.
The
my
Golden
God.
God himself.
Iconic.
He was so good. He's so good. But again, I maintain that, again, you have the little novelty, the self-knowing of like, oh my God, he's being Dennis from Always Sunny. But I think that minimizes his performance because he genuinely delivers a very dramatic performance. And honestly, for me, it was really refreshing to see him have this sort of material, which is actually material that in a way takes itself a little bit more seriously, because he so clearly fits into a dramatic role. Because he's funny, but give this guy more stuff to do.
I 100% forgot that that's where he's from, because I don't watch It's Always Sunny. So I saw him and I was like, wow, I love this guy. I literally recited
Who's this guy?
I recited a scene from the movie for my sister Natalie, because she didn't go see the movie with us. And I was like, no, you have to see this movie just so that you can see this man absolutely unhinged lose his shit.
And
I redid the scene where he fucking breaks the
phone.
Yeah.
the payphone phone.
That was fantastic. Yeah, that was great. And I have the sneaking suspicion that was never intended, because the camera pans with him leaving and then quickly focuses in and then readjusts focus on the fact that the top of the phone is now missing.
Yeah.
I bet you Glenn Howerton just went fucking apeshit on this phone.
Just lost it.
Yeah, I doubt
that.
the direction was like, make sure you break the phone.
That was a great movie to watch like a week or two before I went to Canada. That's true.
Again, that's a Canadian film.
Yeah, I find it so funny that like Glenn Howerton's central dream is to move the Pittsburgh Penguins to Hamilton, Ontario, which if you know what's going on in the NHL right now, you'll know that there are no Canadian teams in the finals. The Stanley Cup may have happened by now.
That feels weird.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Fucking Tampa's in there. Tampa. North Carolina is in there. They should not have fucking hockey teams.
They're known for their ice.
That's so fucked up. If you can't skate on the fucking streets during the winter, at least a little, if that never happened in the history of your fucking town being a place, you should not have a fucking hockey team.
Whoa.
And that includes LA with the LA Kings.
Wow.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, somebody feels very strongly about this.
Listeners, all of our hockey fans and film major fans, write in. Is Zach right? Is he wrong?
Zach's fucking right.
Do you not give a fuck?
Yeah,
This is a
I don't
sports
care.
podcast.
The only thing about hockey that I know is the Sharks, because a bunch of my friends and an ex they were really into the Sharks for like the longest time.
Shouldn't exist either. Where's the ice in San Jose?
There you go. Jesus.
Wow.
Zach
incredible.
is making very intense eyes at me right now.
I spent a little too much time in the motherland.
Considering that you work in an industry where literally nothing is as it is, like there's no, I don't know, like everything's fake in Hollywood, like in the movies.
Yeah, but sports
hockey's
is different.
real.
Sports is
hockey's
different.
real. Hockey's real.
I'm gonna go with Zach on that. Sports are different. This matters. People have money riding on this. Speaking of which, if we do end up having a documentary month, I think we should inject some sports in there. I already have an idea of what mine's going to be.
Veto.
It depends on the sport.
It's The Last Dance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a series.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It is really good, though.
I so badly want to talk about it on the podcast.
If we ever get a Patreon going.
There you go.
Mick and I could do a bonus series.
We could do a bonus
on
series
The
on
Wait,
The
can
Last Dance.
if you do that, can me and Tesla do a bonus series on Girls? Because I just started watching Girls like a couple
Wait a
weeks
minute.
ago.
Who's Tesla?
Tesla
Nicole-
is one of our other
Nicole
friends
Tesla?
from college who went to film school with us.
Indeed.
Lovely. Hello,
Yes.
Tesla. If you're listening to
Hi,
this,
Tesla.
Yeah.
you really electrify the room here.
Oh,
Yeah.
again, we've got all kinds of ideas for bonus content. So if you click that follow button,
Click the follow.
give us a rating, boost us. You know,
Yeah.
maybe we'll start making a little bit of extra content.
And on Spotify,
For
go
a
ahead
price.
and respond to the answers. What do you think of each episode? Let us know. We'd love to hear that feedback. Which, by the way, speaking of feedback, we had our first fan letter come in the mail today.
Oh, no.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. That's what's going on with old Mickey Boy. First fan letter. Who could have possibly written us? Alexis, do you have any guesses as to who wrote
Mr.
a lovely
Harris?
fan? No, very close. It was Mrs. Harris.
Ms.
Ms. Harris. Oh, that's true. Ms. Harris.
or Mix, as she likes to go by.
Or Mix Harris.
For her kindergartners. She's trying to introduce them to the concept of gender fluidity.
Mix? M-I-X?
MX. Is
Aw.
the
Dude,
stuff.
that's tight.
precious.
I haven't
I
heard
I love
that.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's sweet.
All right. Go
Mix.
ahead.
Mainly because that's my name.
Hey, okay.
Mix Harris.
No,
I love that.
no. Just go on with her
So
letter.
she wrote, "Happy birthday, Mick. Wishing you many adventures on the sea. Thanks for Boat Month. Very entertaining and thought-provoking. A fan from Eugene, Oregon."
God,
I have to say, if you're listening to this, and I'm sure you are, thank you so much. That's actually genuinely very sweet. I put the card in my room. Alexis, why did you roll your eyes, Alexis?
I didn't roll my eyes.
God damn it. You did. I saw it.
I think I rolled my eyes
I
into
know
the
why
back of my
Alexis-
fucking head.
Yeah.
I know
I'm
why
spending too
Alexis,
much time with my sister.
I don't think Alexis was a fan of Boat Month. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
I don't
Boat
think-
Month got mentioned out of Boat Month.
I love talking to my sister because she just like she spares no feelings. I was like, oh yeah, she was like, oh, so what's the episode for this week? And I was like, oh, it was Master and Commander. And she was like, oh, what's that about? And I was like, it's like men on a boat and they're doing like
Goddamn
boat
right.
things. And she was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna skip this episode, but thanks. And I was
There
like,
you go.
okay.
Alexis feels vindicated with her blood relative.
Well,
I
going
do.
with that. By the way, you can't smell. You can't smell.
You can't smell?
You can't spell commander without man. I realized that.
Oh, my God.
That's part of that
Oh,
title,
my
buddy.
God. Okay, one last little thing about Boat Month, because my mom also sent us an email, which is probably too long for me to read.
Is that the email?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But the one thing that is attached to the bottom of this email, which at this point I probably will have shared on the Instagram, is a photo of my Pirates of the Caribbean themed birthday party invite.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my mom still has that.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah, I will send it. I will put
Gotta
that.
put
up
that on
the
Instagram.
account. Yeah.
Hell
That's
yeah.
adorable.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. Do we have anything else?
Yeah,
I
watched
watched
another movie.
Sanctuary.
Huh?
Ooh, you watched Sanctuary. I've been
watched
really looking
Sanctuary.
forward to Sanctuary.
Yeah, I heard
It's
it's hot.
so. It's very good. I think it got the dominatrix relationship very right, which is very refreshing because they don't often get that correct. The dom and the submissive. First of all, very sexy film. Very sexy, but also very, very edge of your seat, tense thriller.
It's a true erotic thriller.
It's a true, tried and true erotic
Because
thriller.
I've seen some erotic thrillers that are both not that erotic and
Right.
not that thrilling.
No, this is
See Eli Roth's Knock Knock,
Oh god.
dear.
which is hysterical, and you should watch it.
So we are advocating for Knock Knock.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually might watch that. Who knows?
It's so bad.
But no, Sanctuary is fantastic. It's Zach. Oftentimes you lament when a film that takes place in a single location does not do enough visually.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the entire language, which is cinema. This movie does a really good job of kind of avoiding those pitfalls. There's some
Wonderful.
really cool camera movements, and there are some great. I don't know really what to call it, just kind of like bookends to certain chapters within the film that are completely abstract, and it's just played to music, and it's very, very beautiful. It feels like you're at a symphony, actually. But at the end of the day, this is an erotic thriller, but its foundation is firmly a rom-com.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I mean, and I honestly have even emphasis on the romantic and the comedy. There are some laugh out loud lines in this. They're just so good. I don't want to spoil it. I mean, not spoiling any of the plot, but the lines are so funny. You need to go into it fresh. And honestly, the ending, even the ending shot, made me go, "Aw!" Like it is a heart. I'm going to use the term heartwarming. It is a heartwarming picture that does not go in the direction that you expect.
Okay, say no more. I'm definitely going to go see it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's really good.
Alexis, what else have you watched?
So The French Lieutenant's Wife, 1981, with Meryl Streep and Jeremy Irons. Actually, so
nice.
This friend that I have here, he used to put on. Well, I mean, he still does like movie nights in like downtown Fresno, like classic movie nights, and then he would do like B, C movies and do like comedic commentary with like some other comedians in town and stuff. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, so it's like I guess the thing that he always does when he puts on these like these bigger events is that he gets like actual commercials from the year that the movie dropped. So
very cool.
And plays them like before you're going to see the movie, as
like
if you were watching
or?
it in like theater trailers, and then just like a couple regular commercials.
That's
so
like what the New Beverly does. That's cool.
Yeah, so I got to see a 1981 Miller Lite commercial, and
nice.
Let me tell you, they were really prizing the working man at that time.
Yeah, that was.
So like, it looked like some guys were leaving like a plywood plant or something. I don't know.
Plywood plant, you say?
Don't say plywood plant, Alexis.
Yeah, right,
you triggered him.
I'm being called back.
God.
They all had all their
Our
fingers.
former
so,
plywood plant employee here.
Anyways, and then there was this one called fucking Knight Rider, but it was like a bunch of knights. It was a George Romero movie, but they're on like motorcycles, but they're like medieval knights, but they're on motorcycles.
That's not the Knight Rider I thought we were talking about.
No, it's
I thought you were
not.
talking about
And
Kip
I was
from
so
Knight Rider.
confused when it came on, and I was like, "What is that?"
It's
That's
a
interesting.
Knight
No,
Rider.
it's Riders at Night.
Yeah.
By George Romero. Wow, that's interesting.
That's funny.
That was really fun. The movie was great. The cinematography was gorgeous. And it was a very, very interesting thing because it's based on a book, which is like, so one of the, so there's two stories in this movie, two for the price of one. So the main story that like the book, that the movie that's from the book, whatever, is based on, is like this woman played by Meryl Streep, who is kind of like basically like the Scarlet Woman of like this Lyme in Britain or whatever. And Jeremy Irons is somebody who's like visiting. He's engaged to some girl in the country, blah blah blah, and they end up having like essentially kind of like this almost affair, but it's Victorian England, so it's like even just like talking to each other in the woods alone could be considered like racy, you know?
That's scandalous.
It's so scandalous, right? And then
Would you call it forbidden love?
I wouldn't call it necessarily forbidden love. It was just more of like, a lot of times you couldn't tell whether or not her character, Sarah, was telling the truth about things that had happened to her or not, or if she was just like manipulating. It was crazy. And then there's actually a whole other story that's happening in between this, because they're showing you that this is just a movie that's being made, and Meryl Streep and Jeremy Irons are actually, you see them as the actors who are playing these characters. And,
wow, Meryl Streep has done this twice.
And they're having an actual affair.
Oh.
You know, they're having an actual affair. And I don't know, it was just very interesting going back between like modern times to like Victorian era, and just seeing like how mundane affairs really seem nowadays when you compare it to like how the Victorian attitudes kind of were. So
nice. Alexis, if you like that, you might like Adaptation if you haven't seen it.
Oh, I know I'm going to love Adaptation. I've just never gotten around to watching it. That's the Nicolas Cage film,
right?
Yeah. It's not the same thing, but it also like, you know, tells both the story of a book and the story of, you know, Nicolas Cage's character, Charlie Kaufman, trying to adapt that book into a screenplay.
And a great Brian Cox performance.
Yes.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, my friend Evan was actually talking about Manhunter and stuff the other day. So
Oh, hell yeah. Brian Cox.
Brian Cox again.
the French lieutenant's wife, though, I was like talking to him and like the friends that were there. I was just like, my friends maintain that there's only like 20 British actors, and this movie's really reselling that point to me because the woman,
no, it's true.
The woman who plays she's in Downton Abbey, and fuck, I remembered what the fuck else she was in, but she was also in this
Maggie
movie
Smith?
as like very young. She plays Mrs. Crawley in Downton Abbey.
Oh,
I can't help that.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember her name.
Yeah, and she's been in a bunch of other things. Oh, she's in Shaun of the Dead. Okay, she's the mother in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kept thinking like she's
she's
so
one of the
familiar.
20 British
I
actors.
know her, but she was so young, like you could almost not tell it was her quite. And then Jeremy Irons is the voice of Scar, and I'm like, iconic.
Love it.
Love it.
Well, we're talking about a period piece, and I want to take everyone back for a moment to one of our episodes from Period Piece Palooza.
Woo.
Thank you.
Of course.
On my Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy episode, I mentioned that my catalytic converter had been stolen.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
And one other thing that's going on for me is that today we are recording on May 31st,
Holy
2023. My catalytic converter has finally been replaced.
Wow.
It only took over 6 months. So, This is a little PSA to all of our listeners who might own a Toyota Prius, particularly a model from like 2009 to 2014. Go ahead and hop on the internet, purchase yourself a little security shield for your catalytic converter, because they are back-ordered to fucking hell.
Yeah.
And it is not cheap to replace them, but I'm very glad that that is over.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. They are the kidneys of car parts.
Yeah.
There's a long wait list for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
It's tragic.
Thank you. I thought about that when my catalytic converter got stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's happening out there.
It's a bad time for everyone.
I also, one other thing that I'd like to mention is that on our final episode of Boat Month, I mentioned that because we are heading into Queer Cinema Month and I am not a member of the LGBTQ community.
Not yet.
I am. Thank you.
He's still waiting for his ID card.
It's never too late. But I have been sourcing recommendations from people in the queer community. I got a few from my brother, Edwin, that were emailed to us. I will be watching these films. A few of them that I'd like to mention are My Own Private Idaho.
Love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Crash,
That's a good one.
The Handmaiden.
I
Titan.
also love that movie. Edwin,
so,
can we be friends?
And Edwin dropped some good recs.
Nice.
But yeah, if you are a queer person who listens to our show, write in at filmmakerspod@gmail.com or comment below this episode. There's a place you can leave comments. Let me know what you would like me to watch and consider covering on our final episode of Queer Cinema Month.
This is kind of fun, actually, because this is the first time where one of the hosts has basically forfeited their pick
abdicated
to
my
the
pick.
to the listeners.
Crazy.
We love abdication here.
So get your responses in.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. We love it. Alexis, it doesn't count if you do it. I won't do it either. It has to be not a host.
I don't have to. I literally sent you guys an entire fucking list on my letterbox. So I already gave you my
I forgot about
suggestions.
that.
The end roommate can suggest stuff, though.
That's true.
That's true. I've watched quite a few movies that the end roommate has suggested. So
I'm the token straight of this group. So
I'd say like Maurice with fucking Hugh Grant is pretty good.
Ooh,
I gotta watch that.
And
I love Hugh Grant.
A Single Man with Colin Firth is pretty good.
Oh, that's a good movie.
That
That's
is
a good
great
movie.
film.
That's a really great film.
All right.
Very sad.
I feel like this is maybe a good point to hop
I feel
on
like
out.
we can hop skip out of
skip
what's
you.
going on and go right into the big topic of the day.
All right, let's do it. Let's
What do you
start.
think, folks?
Yeah,
Should we
let's
do it?
Yeah, let's get out on what's going on.
Let's do it.
Okay. And we're back.
We're back, folks.
Hello.
How have you been?
Did you? You go ahead. You take a little break. You relieve yourself.
Okay. Our audience relieved themselves.
Yeah.
That's
well,
for
you
sure.
you could still listen to the podcast.
Okay,
If you're
I have a
relieving yourself.
question. Have you ever
Answer.
Have you ever peed on a significant other in the shower? Just using the shower together, and you peed in the shower? That's a question because I saw it on a TV show, and I wanted to know your opinion. Like,
No,
is it the most
peed on a
disgusting thing you've
significant
ever heard, or would it not bother you that much?
It's not the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. I don't think my significant other would like that very much, and I haven't done it.
There's a very telling silence here.
I'm just saying.
The other side of this table is awful fucking quiet.
I'm just saying. I'm refusing to speak to this one. I'm refusing to speak.
All right. And the fifth was pled.
Yes, I plead the fifth on that one.
Yeah.
Well, since we're out of what's going on, let's hop into our big topic.
It wasn't my idea, by the way. It just.
We don't need to get into
right,
it, buddy.
I plead the fifth.
Some things can remain a
plead the
mystery
fifth.
to our listeners. What's our big topic, Mick?
Huh?
What's our big topic?
Oh, that's right. Well, by the way, if you are a first-time listener of our show, which you probably aren't, but if you are, welcome to the Film Majors. Every episode, we have a special theme, which kind of leads us into our big topic of the day, our big movie of the day. And today's theme, we thought would be really excellent, noteworthy, first-time directorial debuts from any director. And I thought we should just talk about some of our personal favorites or just, movies that deserve a shout out, or maybe people didn't know that this was the director's first fucking time doing this.
I'm really glad that you pitched this. Whoa,
Wow.
That's a face Alexis just made. Man, we got to start recording video on this.
Wow.
But
Kind of looked like Willem Dafoe from Mr. Fox. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
you mean from Grand Budapest?
No, from Fantastic. He played the rat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm really glad you pitched this topic because this was actually one of the first topics I think we discussed when we were coming up with this show.
Was it?
Yeah, this was like an early
shit.
pitch for a topic.
Wow.
This might be one of the first times we've returned to that list.
I would love to actually go back into Google Docs and take a look at our original.
Yeah, see if we had any good ideas back then.
I know we had plenty of bad ones.
Yeah.
No, we had great bad
even
ones.
had. I remember I pitched. Should we talk about like how do we fix the Oscars?
No.
Yeah, remember that? I pitched that, and even now I look back and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that.
Different show.
Different show. Yeah.
Anarchy speaks, burn it all down, and start over.
Yeah.
You make Eric Andre the host.
Oh no. It's not going to fix it. It'll make it different.
So here's a directorial debut that I'd like to bring up.
Debut.
Jonathan Lynn, who directed the movie My Cousin Vinny, his first film was a little film called Clue.
Oh, that was his first film.
Clue was Jonathan
Wow.
Lynn's directorial debut. Clue is one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Yeah.
Clue
that's
is
really good.
like an unmatched hysterical farce.
Got Madeline
I'd love to
right?
review that on our show.
Yeah, Madeline Kahn. Yeah, comedic powerhouses.
Christopher
Tim
Lloyd.
Curry.
Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, and Tim motherfucking Curry.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one that I did not know was a directorial
I didn't know that
debut.
either.
And hats off, Jonathan Lynn.
I love getting educated on this show. And again, we should review that at one point.
Yes,
That was
I also
really
need
good.
to get a copy of Clue. I can't believe I don't own it
We
on
don't
Blu-ray.
have that on the
Yeah,
shelf.
it's not on the
Kind
shelf.
of embarrassing.
Hey, if anyone wants to gift us a copy of Clue, shoot us an email. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Alexis, you have any?
Yeah.
I've got a whole big list.
Yeah,
but
let's go around the circle. Let's all take our time
Oh, I mean, I didn't really think about this before I got off of work, but what immediately comes to mind was Charlotte Wells, I believe her name was, who did After Sun last year. I talked about it when we were doing like our top 10 movies of the year, but it was with Paul Mescal, which I've also seen him in this short TV show, Normal People, based on the book by Sally Rooney.
I've heard that's great.
Oh, incredible. It will destroy you. My nephew even made me like a playlist that's called Right Person, Wrong Time. And I'm like, if this doesn't put me in my feels, I don't know what will. But Paul Mescal in After Sun, just incredible. And then the child actress, she was also like really good. I don't know. It was just so often, I don't know. There was just so much more visually going on and like emotionally kind of like undercurrents that I was just so surprised that it was so subtle for it being a first time director.
Lovely. I still need to see After Sun. I gotta get on that.
You keep selling us on it.
I keep trying. I keep trying.
Keep it in the noggin. I'll watch it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Mick.
I gotta give a shout out to our boy Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers.
His directorial debut with The Witch is it's just so incredible. Yeah, I mean, if you've seen the movie, check it out. If you appreciate a good period piece and you appreciate a good horror film, psychological horror, supernatural horror, whatever it is, it's a terrific fucking acting. Check out that movie.
Yeah.
So good.
The Witch.
So good. And we're in a, what is her name? The actress?
Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, we're in such an Anya Taylor-Joy moment right now. She was pretty young in that film, so check her out. Great performance from that. Really good.
Love it. Yeah. Great pick.
Yes, Alexis.
No, it's okay. You go ahead. I'll rattle mine off.
I had this like memory of when I saw Whip It for the first time, which was Drew Barrymore's, I think, only time she's ever directed, and it was also her directorial debut.
Yeah.
I loved that movie so much. Like, I felt like, because I think I was in high school when it came out, and I don't know, I guess I felt very seen. I've always loved like Elliot Page as like an actor, and the relationship between the mother and the daughter, it just felt really real, I guess. Just like the way that they argued, and then the way that they reconciled at the end. I felt it very deeply. It consistently would like make me cry every time I watched it, and just it was so fun. I feel like she's such a fun, like, Drew Barrymore is such a fun person. You can tell like on her talk show and stuff that like I'm sure it was like a great time kind of like making that movie. And Derby, because Derby's really fun, so
that is the roller derby movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the roller derby movie.
I have not seen, but I think my dad's a fan of that movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Nice.
I used to watch it on repeat.
I remember that being like a trailer that was on a bunch of DVDs that my family had, and I always thought that looked cool. Because
I think
I grew up playing hockey and skating, so I was like, that looks pretty fucking sick.
It's a hell of a contact sport.
Yeah, it was probably one of the reasons why I was so stoked when we got into college and met our film teacher who also played roller derby. I was like, oh my god, it's like all my dreams came true. Cool roller derby girls.
That's true. Actually, technically, the three of us all worked on a documentary about that, which Alexis
directed a doc about roller derby, which I think is listed on my credits on my website.
It should be.
Yeah.
That was one of the few watchable things that came out of our program.
Very true.
Yeah.
Alexis, there's a movie I'm surprised you haven't mentioned.
Yeah, Alexis. I have no idea what it is.
Well, actually, steal my thunder, and I can help you out.
Wait, did Adam Driver direct a movie?
It's a little movie directed by someone who directed a lot of British television, and then went on to make a little movie called Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, Joe Wright.
Yeah, Joe Wright.
Joe Wright's directorial debut. 2005's Pride and Prejudice.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember
his first
like going
feature.
into high school.
Wow.
I would cite him as it was between him and Miyazaki, my favorite directors, because I was just like, there's just something about this man. Everything that he makes is just so beautiful, gorgeous. Like, he just takes his time with everything.
How long had he been working in television before he made that? That's genuinely staggering.
I'm looking at his credits. I'm seeing something called Bob and Rose from 2001.
Good for him. That honestly might be one of the most impressive.
There's something called Nature Boy from 2000.
That's a show?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done, Joe Wright.
I think it's doubly impressive because not only is it very hard, as we've said, to make a movie, But it is incredibly hard to make a well-received literary adaptation. Incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, good on him.
Yeah, seriously. What was it that Jake Gyllenhaal said? Like, it's really hard to make a movie, and it's goddamn like a lightning strike to make a movie that's considered good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Joe Wright, I know you're listening, buddy. Just fucking congratulations.
You slayed
once
it.
again.
Also, I didn't realize he directed Hannah, which I really like. I think
Yeah.
that's a fun movie.
I've never seen it.
I didn't love that picture. I'll have to rewatch it.
I haven't seen it since 2011, but I
think I
liked
was
it
too
in
young for
2011.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. I have to also say, Greta
No,
Gerwig.
it's my turn.
Okay, go, Mick.
Oh, wait. Okay, so Greta Gerwig for her. I don't know what movie you're
Lady
going to
Bird.
mention. Oh, Lady Bird. Okay. I didn't love
Yeah,
that movie.
Mick's not a fan.
I'm not a fan
love
of that
that
film.
I like
movie.
Lady Bird.
Again, the mother-daughter relationship is it's so on point.
That I did enjoy that aspect of the film.
And I
the
also
mother-daughter
went to
thing
Catholic
really worked
school,
for me.
so I felt like I understood.
You felt seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
movie I felt so seen. She's from Sacramento, which is about the same size as Fresno, and it's also technically considered like part of the valley a little bit. So
It's
I don't
about
know.
as hot. Yeah.
Nice.
My pick is, I know we talked about it, but Kiss Kiss Bang Bang from Shane Black, which is a
Yep.
movie that we discussed on this podcast.
Yeah, we discussed these last two
Yeah.
films,
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice, and
and again,
not to discount
it's-
Greta Gerwig, but yeah,
Oh,
those
yeah.
those last two.
Shane Black had been working in the industry for quite a while, being a very, very successful screenwriter. And this was his first time that he actually got to, stop having someone else fuck with his work and be the director himself. And it's fantastic. Again, we don't really need to talk about it. Go back and scroll back into, listen to our episode, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's a Christmas special,
Indeed.
because that is a Christmas film. Yes, Alexis, go for
Can
it.
I have a side note?
Side
Sure.
note away.
Okay, so I was watching like hour-long interview with Adam Driver on the SAG-AFTRA Foundation.
Wait.
I don't
What?
believe you. I don't
No,
believe you.
I don't buy
Bullshit.
it. Wait,
Fucking
who
bullshit.
are you? What have you done with Alexis?
Incredible. I'm a pod person. Yeah, so he said that Die
That's a good
Hard
reference right
is
there.
the best Christmas movie. And I just felt like you
Wait,
guys
what
would
is?
feel vindicated.
Oh,
that
Die Hard?
Die Hard
Oh,
is
yeah.
like one of the best Christmas movies out there. And I was just
Adam
like,
Driver.
immediately thought of you guys. And I was like, oh, I wanted
You
to text
girthy
you.
fingered boy.
And then I was
Yeah.
like, no,
Yeah.
I'll save it for the pod.
Go to with the sauce. Alrighty, so I've got a few other ones to rattle off.
You gonna rattle?
rattle.
Let's rattle it. Rattle.
There's one pretty good one that I'd like to bring up.
Well, don't mention a pretty good one. Mention a great one.
It's okay.
All right. Well, let's hear it.
Citizen Kane.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because that's a movie that I think I was actually going to mention Citizen Kane because that's a movie that, as film majors, we should probably say because it is what it is. It's a very impressive film to watch, but not exactly in my personal rotation.
I like Citizen Kane.
I like it too, but I don't,
I've
return to
never
it a
seen
whole
it.
lot.
Ooh. That's okay.
That's fine.
That's all right.
Just watch just watch. Go to SparkNotes and read that.
Ooh, you know what's also a directorial debut, and I just got a shirt of it?
What?
Boys in the Hood by John Singleton.
Which I still haven't seen.
Oh my
I don't
god,
think
you gotta
I've
see
seen
it.
it.
I
It's
fucking need
fucking
to.
heartbreaking,
Yeah.
but so fucking good.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's a display on that at the Academy Museum.
Yeah.
I really need to get on
You
that.
really do.
Who's in that again?
Lawrence Fishburne and
Cuba
Oh,
Gooding
man.
Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr., yes. And
okay.
Ice Cube.
Ice
God, whatever
Cube,
happened to
my
Cuba
man
Gooding
Ice Cube.
Jr.?
Hell yeah.
Ice Cube, man.
A little sidebar about Ice Cube. I always feel very bad for him because he was in the movie Ghosts of Mars, which was one of
John
John
Carpenter's,
Carpenter's
yeah.
later movies. And it was after Carpenter had been like completely burned out by the studio system, and Ice Cube was like a huge John Carpenter fan. He was so excited to work on
good
it.
taste.
And apparently every day John Carpenter came to set and was like, "This is the biggest piece of shit I've ever worked on."
Oh man.
He was just miserable and not trying
I
the
mean,
whole
John
shit.
Carpenter's such a crotchety old man. I feel bad for anybody who's like, I'm so excited to meet my hero.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
I don't ever want to meet John
No,
Carpenter.
that
I would not
sounds
know
terrible.
what to say.
Well, that's not entirely true though. It depends on the context. Because I worked with an on-set photographer who went to his house to do a photo shoot with him working on his latest soundtrack album.
Yeah.
and said that he was a nice guy.
Yeah, you just need to not ask him about his movies.
Yeah, don't bring up the fact that his movies don't make money.
Yeah, don't bring back that none of his fucking incredible films got any respect.
I love it when they ask him, like, so how do you feel that now so many of your movies are considered cult classics? He goes,
what does that do for me?
Fucking good it did me. Classic.
So a few other ones I'd like to bring up. The Evil Dead.
Great one.
The Last House on the Left.
Who did that?
Wes Craven.
Oh, lovely.
Blood Simple. The Coen Brothers.
Yes, the Coen
Ooh,
Brothers.
yes, great choice.
Thief. Michael Mann.
That was his first
That was
film?
his first movie.
Holy
Ooh,
shit.
can I
And
say
like
one?
the whole thing's there. Please.
Ryan Coogler, Fruitvale Station.
That's one that I've put off because I know it's going to make me really sad.
I haven't seen that.
It's difficult, but
I gotta watch it.
But it's really great. And then I don't know. I love Michael B. Jordan. He's great.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
And then I got to give a shout out to Quentin Tarantino's directorial debut, Reservoir Dogs.
Yep, great movie.
Which actually I think is very much in theme with the movie that we're talking about.
That's true. That's true.
It's actually very similar if you really think about it. Don't do it.
I locked the door this time,
Okay,
so
thank God.
Quentin can't get in.
Oh,
was
well,
close.
thank God. Oh my God.
That
Can
was
I say
close.
one last one that I didn't realize
for
how
it.
much I would like this movie because it's older, but Robert Redford, who's a famous actor, his directorial debut was this movie called Ordinary People with Donald Sutherland, and I think it was Mary Tyler Moore or somebody else. I can't remember.
I think you're right.
Heartbreaking and incredible. Like I was just, I don't know, blown away by the amount of like genuine like emotion in the film. So
Yeah.
Love it.
I identify with Alexis. I love having my heart broken by a film.
Oh, I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing. It's is it a form of masochism?
Maybe.
Is that kind of what that is?
That might be part of it
but
for you.
That's why when I go to an AMC theater and Nicole Kidman in the opening says,
Oh my God.
somehow heartbreak feels good in a place like this, I swell up a little bit because she's kind of right.
I think you well up a little bit.
Oh, I well up. Well, I swell
Maybe
up
you
too.
swell up too.
I swell up too. That's a different discussion.
All right, I'm just going to rattle off a bunch more movies real quick.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, Get Out, Jordan Peele.
Yes.
Kind of contentious because he co-directed something with someone, but Barbarian, Zach Kreger.
Oh, very good. Yeah,
Reanimator, Stuart Gordon.
great choice.
Fright Night, directed by not that Tom Holland, but Tom Holland, who also made Child's Play.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, yes.
Tremors, directed by Ron Underwood.
What has he done?
Tremors.
I'll give it to him. I mean, honestly, God, that's such a good
What about
movie.
Hereditary?
Holy shit.
Yes, Hereditary.
That's a good one.
Ari Aster. Also, The Babadook by Jennifer Kent. I really enjoy The
Yeah,
Babadook.
that's all right.
Bottle Rocket, Wes Anderson.
Hell yeah.
The only movie he's directed, but I really enjoy That Thing You Do, directed by Tom
I
Hanks.
love that
Oh, interesting.
movie.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
also-
that movie.
I don't think I've seen that.
That's one of those movies where there's like a song that's supposed to be like a catchy hit.
And
Yeah.
it is
And you're
catchy
like-
as fuck.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That it makes
You mean
sense.
it's
that this
written for
band,
the movie?
Yeah, it's written for the movie.
Oh,
And you're
interesting.
like, oh yeah, no, this band would blow up.
Yeah,
Huh.
I was actually watching a video on TikTok about that song and how it was made and like anyways, yeah, it was very interesting.
Cool.
So I'm going to move on to Andrew Nicole, who directed Gattaca. He also made Lord of War.
Oh, that's a good film.
The
Good
Iron-
Nicolas Cage movie.
Nice. Yeah, I got to see that.
It's very good.
The Iron Giant, Brad Bird.
Very impressive. Very
yes.
impressive.
The Cell, Tarsem Singh. I really like The Cell.
I'm still trying to see the
Wet
fall.
Hot. Ooh.
Is that
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Tarsem Singh?
I think so.
I can never
Yes.
remember.
Yeah, The Fall is also
It's,
Tarsem Singh.
it's like a cult movie because it's like not available like anywhere. Like you have to buy it for like
Oh, we love
$40
those.
just for like a regular DVD of it.
We love
That
those.
sounds like a challenge.
That sounds
I
like
heard
a
about
Phil
this
Majors.
from like a random
throwdown.
kid in theater in college, and he was talking about how this was like one of his favorite movies ever. And when I went to look into it, it wasn't streaming anywhere. Like you couldn't buy it anywhere. I was like, it's almost like its own lore.
Hell yeah.
And it's with
Okay.
one of our favorite people, Lee Pace, a gentle giant, in the same vein of
Excellent.
Adam Driver.
All right. Okay. Moving on, Wet Hot American Summer, directed by David Wayne.
Yes.
Another one of my favorite
Fantastic.
comedies of all time. Brick, directed by Ryan Johnson, I think it's
I
quite
haven't
good.
seen that yet.
Hot Rod, directed by Akiva Schaffer.
Hell
There you
yeah.
go.
Very funny
I was
movie.
actually thinking about that movie today.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
Nightcrawler, directed by Dan Gilroy.
Yeah.
And Sorry to Bother You,
yeah.
directed by Boots Riley.
Yeah.
I fucking
His one and
love.
only so far.
Yeah, but he does have a TV show coming out this month.
That's
which
exciting.
I'm very excited to check out.
And then I want to give a quick shout out to our friend Stevie Spielberg for making Duel.
Yeah, I gotta see Duel.
It's technically a made-for-TV movie, but it's still a feature film nonetheless. And again, as I've said it before, with Duel, it's great where you can watch a movie that's a first-time attempt by a director, and you very clearly see, like, oh, yeah, this person's going places. You can tell. It's there from the beginning.
Interesting.
Which is kind of...
Yeah, I think there's another movie you could apply that to.
I think there's another film that you could 100% apply that to.
Yeah, like really, really obviously.
Like a movie from 1996, I'm thinking.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm
maybe.
thinking a movie from 1996.
Would it have perchance have Gina Gershon, Jennifer Tilly,
that's good casting.
and Joe Pantoliano in it?
Now that's my ideal choice.
Would Christopher Maloney appear
Oh,
maybe in
dude,
a
keep giving
juicy
it to me.
supporting role?
Oh boy.
Now, if only there were a movie like that directed by two directors who were incredibly formative in Zach's film taste.
Oh my
growing
god!
up.
Actually, is it something like Trapped or
No, that's not it.
No. Close.
what about
Keep going.
Bound?
Yay! That's right, folks. Today we're discussing 1996 Bound from the Wachowski sisters. And folks, let me tell you something. If you've never seen this movie, do yourself a favor and you know what? Stop listening to us. Don't listen to this episode. Pause it.
Come back to it,
Come
though.
back to it. Watch Bound. It is on streaming, right? It's on streaming?
It is on
Yes.
streaming.
Yes, it is.
It's
It is
it's free
Amazon
on
Prime.
Amazon Prime right now.
Thank God. Jeff Bezos. That bald little head ears.
No.
Give us that advertising money, Jeff.
Do it.
No.
Jeff, I'll fucking
Today's
suck your
episode
dick.
is brought to you by
I'll lick
I'm
your
Amazon.
bald
uncomfortable.
head.
So, Bound from 1996. We're going to read the quick description here. Sparks fly when Violet, played by the wonderful Jennifer Tilly, sets eyes on Corky, played by Gina Gershon, in an elevator. Violet is the girlfriend of a violent gangster, Caesar, played by one of our favorite character actors of all time, Joe Pantoliano.
Joe!
Corky is fresh out of prison and doing renovations on the apartment next door. As the two women launch into a passionate love affair, what the fuck? Hey, can you pick it up? My thing isn't giving me the rest of the
They
thing.
assemble an intricate plan for Violet to escape from Caesar with $2 million of the mob's money.
Ooh, we love
but
a
the
con.
important part is to make it out alive.
Ooh, that's great.
It's like a heist movie.
And what's great about that description is it does not give you a whole lot of the movie.
No.
It gives you the gist.
It gives you the setup.
Gives you the setup.
I got to watch this with my sister, and she's never seen this movie before. So
Well done.
it was so much fucking fun, except for the fact that kind of fucking forgot how much gay sex is in the beginning, and I was like, oh. Yeah,
How did you forget that?
But I don't know. I just, I'm
It's the
always
best
seeing so much
part.
gay sex that, like, I kind of just forget sometimes.
That's true. You are awash. She's awash in gay
Alexis
sex.
be having so much gay sex. She doesn't even care about
She
it
don't
anymore.
know. She
Capiche.
don't know.
Oh,
Capiche. Cesare.
don't you know who I am? I'm Alexis Maracino. I'm a Durelman in the bossa.
Okay, wait.
Capiche?
Can I just say that at some point, I think it's Corky who says this and says, I can see again. And I was just like, oh,
Yes.
shit. That must have been
So
one
relatable.
damn good orgasm. The fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I was
I know.
blind, but now I see. They're taking it back to biblical shit out here.
that's right. It was a biblical fuck.
So I have to bring up that this movie, when it came out, the directors had not yet transitioned.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some discussion of like, oh, this movie is kind of, male gazy, blah, 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 which I don't really agree with. And
No, we're gonna go
think
into this.
There's one thing that I really noticed, which I'm sure Alexis was a big fan of, and it's that in so many of the erotic, romantic scenes, what's the camera focused on?
Mouse and hands.
Hands.
A lot of breathing.
So
heavy.
many hands.
A lot of
breathing.
One of the best shots in the film is where it's just lips close to one another, and Corky is, servicing her beneath camera. And,
what are you saying, Mick?
She's breathing, and Jennifer Tilly is breathing, who's playing Violet, so heavily. She goes, Corky, kiss me. Like it's just such an erotic release. It's a beautiful moment too. And it's just shot so wonderfully.
But the camera...
No, go ahead.
Oh, there's one shot where the camera is tracking up Corky's body while Corky and Violet are having sex. And it seems like the camera races past Corky's breasts to focus on her face.
Yeah.
That's because...
While also lingering on how fucking ripped she is.
Yeah, I know.
For sure.
That's something I told Zach.
Gershon is so hot, dude. Oh my God.
I told Zach I'm kind of resentful of how much beer Corky drinks in this movie and has such a immaculately chiseled tummy.
Thank
I'm
you,
like, God damn
because
it.
I watched that and I was like, that can't be real. They're always fucking having a fucking beer together, and they both look just tiny.
I know, when she's at the gay bar, she's drinking beer, and later she's drinking beer. She's always drinking beer, and I'm like, give me the beer gut, please. I wouldn't complain. I'm just saying, give me the beer gut.
Oh my
Come
God,
on.
yeah. I remember Gina Gershon from this fucking movie Showgirls. And
I still haven't seen Showgirls. That's a Verhoeven movie.
Yeah,
is it really?
Yes.
Oh man, we love Verhoeven.
Interesting. Definitely.
Is that Demi Moore?
Yeah. No.
No, I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, you're
Another
thinking of
movie,
thinking of Striptease.
Maybe.
It's a different.
Yeah, she was in a dance movie.
Yes, she was.
Demi
But
Moore,
the girl
but
who was in Showgirls with Gina Gershon, I don't remember her name, but she was from Saved by the Bell in the 90s, and it was a big thing for her to be in this very sexual movie when that is a very family friendly show. So yeah.
You're talking about Gina Gershon being in this.
No, she's talking about Elizabeth Berkley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can I just say
how did we get onto Showgirls?
Bound, the movie that we're talking about, I
one.
I really, really, really felt like, should I have watched this by myself? Because I was I didn't realize how much sex was going on in the first half. I was like, I feel like I could have just watched this by myself and maybe been just as happy or happier.
That's a classic. That's a classic Alexis moment of her recommending a film and then throwing it on with a person or in front of an entire class.
No, it actually is.
And being like, "Oh
no, this
shit,
tracks. This
is
absolutely
just
tracks."
porn."
Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, wait, I didn't actually sign up to watch porn with my sister.
Yeah. So, well, no, I'm not going to make a joke. So basically, I was first exposed to this movie, Bound, because I went to a film studies class, which was actually part of the class made me excited about getting into movies again, which made me go to film school, which made me meet you two lovely people.
Wow.
And led me on the career.
This is an origin story.
This is an origin story that goes back to Bound. And it's part of why I work in the film industry, because I went and took this class. It was a feminist film theory course, Women on Films. And it covered movies where it was about female text. And the director had to be female, and it could be about anything.
Nice.
Great, Alexis.
That stays in.
Stays in.
Keep it and double it.
We love it. And we watch all these great films that I would have never otherwise seen. And I'm very, very thankful to the class. And we got to vote on our last film. Everything else was baked into the syllabus. And it was one of the movies I can't even remember, and Bound. That was the choice for our final film of the whole semester. And it was pretty clear that almost everyone wanted to watch Bound, and so we got it. And it was just sold to us as a queer film noir from the people that did The Matrix. And so we were all, because none of us had seen it.
That's what I told my sister, too.
Hell fucking yeah, so it's from the ladies who made The Matrix.
We were like, shit, let's watch it. And by far, this was something that our class all agreed on, because we were big fans of all the movies we watched. In fact, one of the movies that we did watch, we're going to talk about later in this month. But we all just agreed, like, holy shit, Bound is... First of all, how have we never heard of this before? how did this like fly under the radar? Because it's a queer film and it's a wonderful queer film, but it's a fantastic genre film. Like, this is a good gangster movie. This is a good film noir. This is a good con film.
It's a good heist movie.
It's a great heist film, and it's so well done. Bill Pope does the cinematography, and it's fantastic. So
Bill fucking Pope.
It's one of my favorite movies to show my friends, Bound, because I have yet to show it to a human being and have them not get exceedingly excited about it.
So,
and you will do the same, listeners. Check out this movie.
Here's my thing is that I feel like with most queer cinema, like if you didn't grow up like knowing it's out there and knowing specific ones, like you really have to like search it out for yourself. Like it's never usually like pushed to you. I think the only one that I ever like as growing up was like, oh, that's a queer movie that like everybody's seen now is Brokeback Mountain. Everything else was like under the radar. Like either I was going through my gay renaissance and watching it in my like late teens, or it was something that I found randomly at Blockbuster, which was how I watched But I'm a Cheerleader for the first time. So like I just think that it's just as much as the gay agenda, whatever, you know, it's not pushed enough.
Yeah, the gay agenda needs to be working way harder.
The gay agenda is like on a
they need to be putting in some
that's what
overtime.
we're doing here this month. That's what we're doing here. We're spreading.
We're pushing communism and we're pushing the gay agenda.
Two of the coolest things you can do.
Goddamn important trains right there.
Yeah. So I'd like to briefly pivot back to our big topic, which is
directorial
films.
debuts. Yeah.
So Bound was made kind of as a proof of concept movie.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Because the Wachowskis brought the script for The Matrix to a bunch of studios, and Warner Brothers ultimately bought it. And they were like, okay, well, this is, clearly something.
Right.
But,
we don't know what it is.
They've never made a movie before.
It's like, it don't make no damn sense.
Compels
me though. That's people reading Matrix for the first time.
Yeah. And so the Wachowskis polished off their script for Bound, and were like, could we get this financed? And studio was like, sure. Gave them, I believe it was $7 million's actually pretty healthy for this movie.
That is a healthy first-time budget right there.
But all of that money goes into the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this, as Mick said while we were watching this yesterday, this looks like it could be a side story set in the Matrix.
Yeah, no, it looks so good.
From the ringing telephones to like the slow motion and dynamic camera movements to all the leather and sunglasses and rain and Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah.
It's all there to be brought to a more massive and mind-bending scale in The Matrix, which we also watched last night.
Yes, we did. We ran it after
It's one of
Bound.
my favorite movies of all time.
But yeah, that was something that we all picked up in our class. We picked up on as we're watching it. This is what we mentioned, like with Duel, with Steven Spielberg. Like, oh, this guy is so clearly going to go on and do massive things. When you watch Bound, and if you haven't seen it for the first time, you are going to undeniably be like, oh, these are the people that made the fucking Matrix.
Yeah, if you watch this not knowing that it was made by the Wachowski sisters, you would be like, wow, this looks like the Matrix.
Yeah. It doesn't have the green filter kind of thing going on, or the lighting, but it is so well done.
I think it's one of the sisters. I think is it Lana who did Sense8. But
they both did Sense8.
Yeah, but the second season, I think only one of them was directing.
Yes, let me see, because it's the same one of the sisters who... it was Lana, because Lana was the only one who directed The Matrix Resurrections.
Okay, yeah. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When I watched Bound, I was just... Because I've seen Sense8 like all the way through like twice, and... There's quite a lot of sex scenes in Sense8 that very much I'm like, why am I watching this with other people? I'm literally watching porn right now.
It's very sexy.
It's very sexy. But yeah, when I was watching Bound, I was like, yes, I can definitely see how like these people made both The Matrix and Sense8 because there's something The Matrix is inherently also very erotic, but Sense8 incredibly erotic. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And something that was interesting, you know what I actually really like about the story of making Bound was, it's my understanding, I can't find proof of this on the internet. It's a story that I heard a long time ago, and it might have been in that class I took. But I heard that the Wachowskis, they lived in Chicago for a time.
Yes, yeah, they're Chicago gals.
They're Chicago gals. And at one point, while they were focusing on their passion, which is writing and storytelling, they needed something to do to make money. And one of those things was they went around and painted apartments.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And that's something that I identify with because my dad's a painter, and that was my first job for like 7 years of my young life was to help my dad paint houses and paint apartments and stuff like that. I heard you paint houses. No, it wasn't that cool. We used latex. But basically, as they were painting an apartment in Chicago, they kind of hatched this idea of, wow, what if as we were painting right now, we heard like a crime taking place in the apartment next door? And that immediately they just started bouncing that idea off of each other. And that was where Bound came from.
It's a great
That's so cool.
sense
Which is so
of
cool.
voyeurism as well. If you think about like Rear Window and like, you know, watching somebody from afar, but then instead you have Corky.
In the peephole.
Yeah, but then
In
instead
this,
you
the
have
use of the
Corky
peephole.
hearing what's happening on the other side. It's still
Yes.
like, it's not voyeurism as we know it where we're directly looking at something, but it still is,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, it's very Hitchcockian.
It is very Hitchcockian. And I also love the use of space,
Yes.
too. This movie very well establishes the apartment complex. Even during the chase scene in the last act between Caesar and Violet, going up and down the staircases in the elevator, like you get such a good feeling for where people are, where they're located, and that again, that can't be easy to do for a first-time director or directors.
Yeah.
Again, it's so well done.
I think this movie provides a good refutation to the notion that sex scenes serve no purpose in a movie, because there's always anti-sex scene discourse on the internet, and it's dumb.
Boo.
That is the first time you see like Corky and Violet like coming together as people, and like
literally,
nice.
Thanks.
But like, you know, by the end of the movie, like that like physical connection is literalized with the last line where god damn it, what Violet,
a great ending
you know
line.
what the difference between you and me is?
What?
Me neither.
I love that.
Man.
Yeah.
So cute.
There's a lot of great lines in this movie.
Really good stuff.
I also love it because it's like, you know, I feel like at first, like, Corky gets a little jealous of, like, the men in Violet's life, like, maybe assuming things about her, and then she, like, kind of confronts her about it, and she's like, well, that's not sex, and he's like, well, if that's not sex, like, what is it? It's not sex, it's work. And I love that is how she categorizes. So like what we did together, what I experienced with you, that was sex. What I do with these men, I work for this. I work for my living, basically.
You think you're the only one that's good at something in this world. Yeah.
And the movie places more importance on one than the other because we see and spend time with Corky and Violet having this like intimate sexual connection.
Yeah.
And we never see Violet having sex with any of the guys who she's having sex with for work.
We only hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds so fake.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point. And also, I let's talk about the first time we see everyone together, which is the elevator. It's an over God's eye view, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's on top of everybody looking down into this elevator, and you have Corky, played by Gina Gershon, in the corner, who is a maintenance person for this apartment complex, who's going up to start working on an apartment, and Violet is sitting leaning against one of the other walls, and they are making some of the most intensive eye contact to one another they're basically already fucking each other with their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'm projecting, but oh my gosh, the eye contact, folks. If you want to learn how to flirt, watch this movie.
I don't.
Because, oh my God.
I don't know if you can have a different reaction if you were in the elevator with either Gina Gershon or Jennifer Tilly.
Right. But in the elevator, where is Joe Pantoliano looking? Caesar, where's he looking?
Forward. At the doors.
He's looking forward at the door. His back is to both of them. Mm-hmm. It's right there. You have an image of the whole film right there. He is completely oblivious to these two, the chemistry that they have. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get it until it's so obvious in the fucking face until the third act.
Yeah.
But it just sets up their characters visually so well, and the dynamics that we're going to have for the next two acts.
Another great moment is where Corky is servicing Violet for the first time with their hand, and they get
interrupted. Say finger it on this podcast?
They get interrupted by Caesar coming home, and he's flipping out because he thinks, "Oh my God, Violet's fucking somebody!" And then as soon as he sees that it's Gina Gershon, he's like, "Oh, you." What does he say?
And he goes, "No." He says, "Oh boy." It's fucking dark in here.
Can we get into it?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Can we please get into how much I fucking love Joe Pantoliano?
He's so good in this.
My favorite little tiny Italian man from Chicago.
If you don't know who he is, he plays Cypher in The Matrix.
So good.
He's
the one who likes the steak that's juicy and delicious.
Exactly. Ignorance is bliss.
Yep.
He played, I forget his name in The Fugitive. Yeah.
Yeah, he's part of Deputy Sam Gerard's crack team of U.S. Marshals.
He plays
hunting down Dr. Richard Kimball.
Oh,
so good. He plays Snake in Running Scared. It's so anything he's in, he's fantastic at. But I found out
he's even good in the fucking terrible Percy Jackson and the Olympians movie.
I haven't seen that.
Is he? Who is he?
He's the abusive stepdad.
Oh yeah,
that sounds about right.
That makes sense. Wow. Actually, that does
bad movie, but
so
Joey.
I want to go on record as saying that this is my favorite performance from Joe Pantoliano. Mm-hmm. He has so much to do. It's his first basically leading man performance, and I think his only leading man performance that he's ever been given.
Well, he's not a leading man in this, but big role.
Big role. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Probably the biggest part that he's ever had.
It's so good. You see, first of all, he's frightening. He's funny, but he's frightening. And I found out that Joe Pantoliano has said that this is his favorite character that he's ever got to play. And arguably like the performance that he's most proud of. And I'm so happy to hear that because, again, that's I think my favorite performance that I've ever seen him do. It's just so good. He looks so insane. He looks so... When he's losing it, when he's in Johnny's apartment...
Who's the dead man now, Johnny? That shit right there when he's fucking kicking him.
I
psycho.
I really like his the first time you see him with the other gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the first couple times you see him, it's him being fucking oblivious.
Yeah.
You know, like he's clearly, mobbed up.
Yeah.
But he, is not noticing what's going on literally right behind his back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then the next time you see him, Christopher Maloney's kicking the shit out of this guy.
They're torturing Shelley.
Torturing Shelley in Caesar's bathroom.
It's very violent.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
By the disclaimer, this movie is very violent. It's very sexy, but also it shows you shit.
It's pretty violent.
I would say very violent, just because of the sound design with him screaming.
Yeah.
That's a blood-curdling scream. I'm always kind of taken aback by this.
The shears for plants.
Yeah.
The plant
Chopping
shears.
off the fingies with the
when Mickey
garden
asks
clippers.
him, I'm going to ask you 10 times, Shelley. You understand? 10. And then goes to put the shears on his pinky. Oh, boy.
In that scene where Shelley's being tortured, Caesar is getting frustrated with this guy. And it's not because he, has a greater sense of empathy. It's because he's smarter
Yeah.
than the other fucking clowns he's working
He's
with.
a cool
like,
cat.
Put a fucking towel in this guy's mouth, you know?
He hands it to Johnny, and he immediately starts patting off his own
he's like,
face.
no, that's for his mouth.
Johnny, played by Christopher Maloney, who I love so much.
But then, it's a good setup to see, him in the third act when Corky and Violet are trying to make it seem like he stole money from the mob, so he has no choice but to run.
Yeah.
And he doesn't run.
No.
And he, manages to avoid the cops, manages to take out all the other guys in the mob when they're not believing that Maloney set him up stealing the money.
Yeah.
Like, he makes some smart choices,
He does. He's actually quite clever and someone that you really shouldn't underestimate.
Yeah, he's more
it's just
homophobic than he is clever.
Yeah, but the thing
that's
is
true.
that he's also misogynistic because at the end of the day, he still believes that he's more intelligent than the women that are around him.
It's so poetic that his misogyny, his ignorance, and his homophobia, you could argue, is his ultimate downfall.
Oh,
Yeah, because he doesn't believe that Violet will kill him.
No.
See, I know
like,
you, Vi.
exactly.
You won't do it.
Yeah.
Caesar, you don't know shit.
Love
Oh,
it.
This
man.
movie has so many good
And
lines.
by the way, what a beautiful shot. It's so beautiful, the execution in the white paint, the squibs going off, the impact on the paint.
Yeah, when
the mixture of blood and paint.
when
so
Joe
cool.
Pantoliano is shot down by Jennifer Tilly, he's standing in this big pool of white paint and his blood's going into it. It's
It's
those
so good.
Wachowski girls, they can fucking make
They really
fucking
make a
fantastic.
movie.
But
Yeah.
and that's something else too, is that when he gets cornered, and he whips out the gun and he points it at Johnny, he's accusing him of taking the money, and then Gino Marzoni is going, we're family, hand me the pistola, hand me the gun, shoots Gino, then wastes his other badass, and then kills Johnny. Not only does that raise the stakes of the film, I mentioned this last night, but this also makes him going from someone who doesn't know quite what to do, someone who's being manipulated by our leading characters, to now someone who is genuinely dangerous. Mm-hmm. It really raises the stakes. It really makes the last act just so nail-biting, and it even dips into thriller horror territory at some point when they're kind of skulking around the apartment later after Corky's broken back in to kind of save Violet. It's such a good sequence. But if I may, we're talking about genre, but this is Queer Month. This is a queer film. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that. So apparently, this is not surprising, the studio liked the script, but said, "Can you make Corky a man?" That was their main note.
It's not
was
as
to change
fun.
Corky. Changes Corky to a man.
That
also,
immediately makes it less interesting.
Yeah, that also fucks with a lot of the reasons why they can get away with what they're getting away with.
Well, exactly. It also, the whole point of this movie is to subvert the femme fatale genre, to subvert the whole gangster
That's what I was
con genre.
That's what I was telling my sister
Corky
too.
a man totally fucks that up. And even the Wachowskis said that.
What were you saying with your sister, Alex?
So in the middle of the movie, I was like, because my sister doesn't watch old movies and shit, why would she? Mm-hmm. So I was telling her, I was like, the classic noir, Double Indemnity, the femme fatale would almost always, betray the main character at some point, right? So they're immediately going to subvert that trope by making them by them ending up together, that subverts the femme fatale trope because our leading characters are Violet and Corky instead of a man, so
which, and also the first time you watch it though, you are, because of the tropes of the genre, you're constantly waiting for someone to fuck over someone else.
You're waiting for Violet to screw over Corky as well because she is so good
Violet,
at manipulating.
She's
all
a
the
master manipulator.
My sister was like, she is such a good actress, but she was talking about Violet, not Jennifer Tilly. She was like, she's such a good actress. And I was like she said, Nat, it's work. She's been working on these people for 5 years. She is a professional.
When she's in the elevator she calls Mickey, going, "Oh my God, it was Caesar the whole time. He made me do it. He made me." And for a split second, you're almost like, "Oh God, did she really fucking lose it?" Then she hangs up the phone and then just kind of looks off to the side like, "I'm manipulating these motherfuckers."
That whole chase scene is so fucking good because as soon as Caesar gets down on the floor and then he realizes she gets into the elevator, me and my sister laughed hella hard because he goes, "Oh, fuck." And he has to go back up the stairs.
Yeah. No, another funny delivery from Joey Pants himself is his delivery after I believe it's either after Violet helps him get the cops out of the apartment or it's after they get Mickey out of the apartment.
I think it's Mickey.
Yeah, it's after. He goes, "Now that's teamwork."
Yeah, that's teamwork. Oh, yeah. It's so good.
Oh, man. Joey.
So something else, too, I want to quickly talk about is the sex scene, which I found out. So little thing. Last night, Zach and I, we have the Blu-ray. We watched the unrated version, because I've never seen the unrated version, and I wanted to know what the difference was. I've seen Bound, I think this was my 5th time, so I'm pretty familiar with the material. After watching the unrated version, I can't really tell you the difference. As far as I know, everything was the exact same as the theatrical release, R-rated version. So I did some digging, and I found out that the shot that we keep talking about, which is the long shot of them making love, is different in the unrated version than it is in the R-rated version.
Uh-huh.
In the unrated version, it's longer. It's a different take. They use a different take. And not because it shows more breast or more ass.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It's because it's lit differently. And the only reason it's technically unrated was because the MPAA never got to see this version. So that's why it's unrated. And the reason they did this is, who was the producer on this movie that you mentioned?
It's Joel Silver. It's got to be Joel Silver. Or no, Dino De Laurentiis.
Say it again one more time.
Dino De Laurentiis.
Dino De Laurentiis. So he's Italian, and this movie was cut in Italy. And the Wachowskis suspected, after knowing his work, that when it comes to a sex scene between two beautiful women, such as Gina Gershon, Jennifer Tilly.
Are we about to do some anti-Italian discrimination?
Not really, but
just lightly.
Some precautionary things were done.
Ow!
So they were worried, and Bill Pope was worried about this too, the DP and another producer, and the technical advisor, I forget her name, I'll pull up her name later. She helped out a lot in the movie. They were worried that they were going to do inserts of boobs and vagina and ass.
Having seen some other Dino De Laurentiis pictures, that's not off. I just watched Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, no, he's known for it, and he's known for just adding that to film. So
Great
this is what they did.
Though. He produced Evil Dead 2.
But this is what Bill Pope and the Wachowskis thought up. If it's one long continuous shot, if you were to try to throw in an insert, it wouldn't work.
Nice.
So that's why it is one long continuous shot, was because it was their defense from having them just cut in to throw in some male voyeurism.
Nice.
So that is actually why it's shot that way. And I think the rated version is it's lit slightly differently, and it's just a different take overall. They did that take, I think, 5 or 6 times, and the main thing was Gina Gershon she kept saying that she was overacting with her feet, so she kept insisting that they do it again. Yeah, because there's a good foot shot in this.
I mean, having to fake an orgasm, I can't even imagine having to fake that on camera.
Yeah.
Well, that was something that both Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon said were surprisingly technical. Gina Gershon spoke in an interview saying that, she's done many sex scenes with male co-stars, and she said there's almost like this weird pressure of trying to be sexy for your co-star. Mm-hmm. So you really you milk it a little bit.
Yeah.
With this, though, she'd never done a queer sex scene before, and neither had Jennifer Tilly. In fact, a lot of actresses passed on this movie, including, help me, the name of the actress from Terminator.
Oh, goddamn. Sarah Connor, motherfucker. How am I forgetting this? Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton was originally supposed to be, I believe, Corky, but passed on it because a lot of actresses there were a lot of actresses uncomfortable with the queer sex scene, apparently, which is too bad. Or maybe it was just that they didn't know who the Wachowskis were. They were first-time directors, bada bing, bada boom. But Jennifer Tilly, Gina Gershon said that it was actually very clinical. It was like, okay, like if you put your hand here, it'll make my ass look better. Okay, yeah, that's good. Does this feel okay? Okay, that's good. And it was just I
feel like it would feel better, safer doing that with another woman.
Well, and not only safer, this was actually, to my knowledge, and listeners correct me if I'm wrong, but this was one of the first times that a movie had a intimacy coordinator on set.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
This was one of the first. And so basically one of the...
Those are my fucking girls, the Wachowskis.
Right?
God, they're cool.
You girls go.
They've been cool for fucking ever.
They really have.
Everybody
They really
watched
have.
Speed Racer and Cloud Atlas, too. Those are good movies.
I still need to watch
Speed Racer.
Have you seen Cloud Atlas?
No, I haven't seen that
Watch
either.
Cloud Atlas. It's a good movie.
My mom really likes
or Jupiter Ascending.
There's some yellow face, which is a little weird. But
Oh.
The what?
Damn. But anyways...
don't worry about it.
Okay.
So there's a woman called Susie Bright, who is an American author, performer, expert on the subject of sexual politics and sexuality. And she was the technical advisor and or intimacy coordinator for this film. If you watch the movie, you saw her. She's the woman in leather in the bar booth that Jennifer Gershon goes up and kind of flirts with. Gina Gershon, sorry. Goes up and flirts with in the booth. And that's Susie Bright, the technical advisor. She gets a little cameo in the movie. And she was a really big role in the whole film of making people feel safe on set and making sure that this was shot differently than your typical erotic thriller, which I think is just really, really cool because she's a queer person in real life. And she gave the Wachowskis a big accolades for the queer bar scene. She was like, fuck, man, this is exactly like the place I go to in San Francisco. Like, she's like the extras that you cast. Everyone looks perfect here. This is great. Probably in the Castro district. But yeah, I think it was really cool. And for that sex scene, apparently they put the monitor up like on a crane and up in a very secluded spot. So only like the Wachowskis and very select few people could do that. So this was a closed set that they did this for. So both actresses felt very, very safe doing this. And it's nice hearing a story about a very good film where everyone on set was just like, God, I like going to work.
Yeah.
This is nice.
I worked with Gina Gershon. She said she liked doing Bound.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you met Gina Gershon?
Yeah, I met Gina Gershon.
Oh, wow. That's right.
so
I forgot
jealous.
that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Cool
So
lady. Yeah, she
jealous.
did like a day on Emily the Criminal.
Oh,
that's
sweet.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also, there's something else Zach and I talked about watching the movie. Is like, so Jennifer Tilly, Violet, is so sexy, so gorgeous.
Dude.
But then you have Corky, who is also so sexy and so gorgeous. And
I'd like to let the queer woman speak on this.
Yeah, before I do, really quick, I just got to say,
Yeah, but we've been talking a lot.
I go back and forth on, God, who is hotter in this movie? I can't fucking decide. Alexis, take it away.
The answer is Joe Pantoliano.
That's correct.
I don't know, because, when you see, well, there's obviously something very attractive about somebody who's clearly very dominant, as Gina Gershon's Corky kind of is, and just exuding that fucking confidence, the haircut, her lips, her leather jacket. It all just like works in tandem. You're just like, damn, this bitch is fucking cool. And then you fucking see Jennifer Tilly, and she has this like Betty Boop, like little curls. She has these tiny little like glasses, and she has a forgive me for, being male gazing in this, but she's got a rockin' fucking bod, dude. Like, I remember the first time I ever saw her in The Bride of Chucky, I was like, I think I'm in love with this woman. And for like my whole childhood, I was like in love with Jennifer Tilly. I was just like, I don't know, there's something about that voice. It's like, it's childlike, but almost seductive. I don't even know how that works.
She sounds like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, she does.
Anyways,
I described her as the goth Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, it's so hot. And so I'm like, but the thing is that like she's even hotter when you realize, oh, she's just as dominant as Corky is, just in a more subtle way, you know?
Soft power.
Yeah. So, and which in the subtle way that I think that most women kind of have to be, like they have to have the illusion of being submissive, especially like in their like day-to-day life, especially like when you're dealing with like a lot of misogyny or certain types of patriarchal values in your lives, as she was with, you know, Caesar and the quote unquote the business. But yeah, no, I think that Violet might be the hottest because she in many ways is the smartest. She's been biding her time and collecting notes about all these different people who are pretty high up in this like mob business. And she basically is unable to unravel all of it by playing the dumb girl part. And I always love it when a woman fucking plays dumb and fucking succeeds in fucking thrashing the patriarchy. I'm
and
like,
manipulating
slay.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
She also has two of the best lines in the movie. One
Tyler,
of which
kick it
I
away.
already said is, I believe, her final line before she kills Caesar.
Right.
The other one is once Caesar has discovered that Violet and Corky are in a relationship.
Oh,
he goes,
yeah. Oh, great line.
Vi, what did she do to you? And Violet responds with, everything you couldn't.
So good.
That's how you
That's
fucking cut a man
That's
down.
a kick in the balls.
You tell him his dick game weak.
Yeah.
That'll kill him.
There's literally nothing I love more than hurting men's feelings. It's so incredible. It's so tasty. It's like going to a Michelin star restaurant.
And you know, you've linked up with two men who are suckers for pain.
That's true. That is true. That's why we have such a good dynamic on this podcast.
That's why this podcast has been going for, pushing a year.
I used to make boys cry in kindergarten and first grade.
Oh, wow.
I didn't. I wasn't
You know
by
what I like?
myself. I wasn't by myself. It was me and some other girls. We chased them around the yard, and they'd start screaming and they cry.
I think you told me that story. That sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
And you know,
Wow.
That's funny because
It
I
may
chase
have been-
Mick around the apartment.
But I don't cry.
Yeah, I want.
I'm
him
usually
to.
giggling.
It's like, hee hee hee.
Yeah. So something I really like about this movie is, well, it's just a quick little thing. How hot is it that her earrings, Corky's earrings, are the
lock
picks?
picking tools. Yeah.
That's so fucking cool.
That's
Yeah, that
so
was. I
fierce.
was like, yes.
I love that.
Okay. Also, just the fact that I don't think, like, I've seen Chris Maloney in so few things outside of Law and Order SVU, but I used to watch Law and Order SVU like religiously as a child.
I still do.
Yeah.
For me, Christopher Maloney will always be the cook from Wet Hot American Summer.
which that's another
I've
great
still
performance.
never seen that movie.
He delivers the lines. I'm gonna go fondle my sweaters. Excuse me. I'm gonna go rub some mud on my ass.
Yeah, he has some great lines. But can I actually
I gotta
say
go find my dick cream.
there's one thing in this movie that doesn't work for me, and I've
Is it
actually
that Christopher Maloney doesn't hump the fridge?
I've been on the fence about it for a long time, but I think last night watching it, I've concretely decided I don't like this part of the movie. When Christopher Maloney gets shot, he goes, "Wait, don't shoot," and then collapses. How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, that got a laugh for me.
Okay, Alexis?
I mean, I guess I giggled. I just was like, God, Johnny, you're an idiot. I don't know. Here's the thing is whenever people get shot, I always think to myself, why would they say anything? Their lungs are filling with blood. You know,
I mean,
my first idea is
you're
always
kinda
their
right.
lungs are filling with blood. But for me,
Yeah.
that is just something that's just a thought that I constantly have to
Yeah.
throw away to remain in a state of, suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Yeah. To remain in that, I just have to throw away some of my thoughts sometimes, you know, unless it's really glaringly obvious and really takes me out. I don't really mind it.
Okay, because I think the more I watch it, the more it takes me out, because I feel like it's the only part of the movie where it kind of betrays itself in terms of tone.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a goofy guy, but it seems like it's from a different film. You know what I mean?
I think it worked for me as like something that someone says in shock right before they die. Like he still hasn't processed what's happened to him.
Sure, the line, but the way it's delivered, it seems like it's there for a laugh.
I thought it was fine, and I think it's fine to have a line there for a laugh, and I think it's a laugh that existed within the world of the film. It worked for me.
It was a very serious scene, and I think that was our first reprieve because you have all this tension that's going on between Caesar and Gino and fucking Johnny and all this stuff that's going on.
That's kind of my issue with it was because that's the point in the movie where it's like, holy shit, like shit really got real.
I think it works because as much as
you don't think it undercuts it?
No, because I think as much as you hate Caesar, like as much as Caesar's kind of a rat, you haven't really been given like as many reasons to hate Caesar as you do Johnny at this point. Like he hasn't become sort of the true monster that you see at the end of the movie.
Right.
And I like that exists as a little victory moment for Caesar because you kind of do want to see him pop this little son of a bitch. I think having this
an
little
issue
pathetic,
with him dying.
I think this little pathetic exclamation point on it where we do get a little laugh at his expense, I think that works.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. Not sold.
That's again, I think you're right.
On my fifth go, because the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of think, and then I've laughed at it, but now I don't know. It's the one thing, and that's me splitting hairs here. But it's the one thing in this movie that I don't like, amongst everything else that I do like. I just have to be true to myself and say that's the one thing I don't like.
There was like one thing that I wrote down that I was like, oh, in particular, I really love this shot. It's like, I think it's an overhead tracking shot of Gino, Johnny, and then the henchmen as they're coming down the hallway to meet up with Caesar. I really love that shot because like I think it just really like it sells the power and presence of Gino and the mob, itself. And it really very much reminds me of The Matrix, There's not a lot of movies that will use overhead tracking shots and even less will use them correctly and well, Yeah,
and using the shadows too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, we watched The Matrix right after this, and the opening scene with Trinity where she's escaping the agents and you don't really know, if you've lived under a rock and you don't know what The Matrix is,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who she is or what's going on. They use like a similar visual language to establish the agents, but also like that apartment building. I was like, this could be a more run-down version of the Bound apartment complex.
Yeah.
Like, it looks very similar.
Like I said, they look like they exist in the same world in some way. And
which is very funny because the Wachowskis have, like, evolved their visual style so much. Like, beyond Bound and The Matrix, they never made another movie that looked like that.
Yeah.
Which is almost too bad.
But their other movies are so beautiful.
So Zach said something
keep on innovating, girls.
When we were watching the movie. You said that it looks like they very much love comic books.
Yeah, I believe they came up through the comic book world.
They did, and apparently both the Wachowskis and Bill Pope, the cinematographer, talked about their mutual love of Frank Miller, which was
that makes a lot of sense.
A big influence on the visual language of Bound.
That's
Frank
why
Miller? It's kind of shot the way it is.
Frank Miller was a comic book writer and artist who came up at the same time as like Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman.
He did a lot of Batman stuff.
He did the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
He did a long run on Daredevil, and he did 300 and Sin City.
Yeah.
And
so I'm not a big comic book person, but I am familiar with that, and you can tell it's very much that comic booky kind of style, the graphic novel look, which is so cool.
Yeah, there's a cut where Corky is listening to the torture of Shelley on the other side of the wall in her bathroom, and you see like the vibrations of the beating in her toilet, and then you see drops of blood start to drop in the toilet, and you pull back to reveal that we're now in Violet's apartment watching Shelley get beaten in the other bathroom. That feels like something that you would like because I grew up reading comics. That feels like panels that you would see beside each other. You know, you've got like a panel of the toilet in Corky's apartment.
Right.
You've got a panel of the vibrations in the water. Then you've got a panel of blood landing in the toilet. And then you see that we're in the other apartment. Like I don't know. It feels like a progression of images that you would read while reading a comic book.
Yeah. Probably storyboarded to hell.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Honestly.
Oh my God. I would kill to see the Wachowski storyboards of this movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I had such a good time watching this again. I don't have anything else to add. If Alexis, anything else you want to bring to the table here?
No, other than it has my sister's stamp of approval, and we love that.
Hell yeah. A Vicia family stamp of approval.
We got it.
Yeah.
It may not be a steamy period piece, but it is steamy.
Oh, yeah.
It sure
Very
is steamy. Yes.
I would just like to wrap up by saying that I'm so glad we've gotten to a Wachowski movie.
That's right, our first one.
Yeah, The Matrix was probably one of the most significant movies for me getting into the craft of filmmaking. I think it's one of the best movies ever made. I think it's so wildly entertaining. I don't need to go on a whole rant about The Matrix. If you haven't seen it, figure it out. The sequels are good too, and if you tell me they're not,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
might need
fight
to
you in
check
the
those
street. They're all on our shelf.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
my
shit.
Matrix. Yeah, my Matrix box set has all four.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm very happy that we have given the Wachowskis their credit, because also, like, how fucking cool is it that, like, two trans women made what might be like the most significant genre amalgamation since Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it is a story that is a trans allegory. I mean, fuck. God, they're so cool.
I'm right there with you. Again, out of all of the directors that we spoke about of having very impressive directorial debuts, I don't think I'm waxing poetic. I don't think this is hyperbole when I say that I think out of all of them, perhaps my favorite, and I think I'm just so impressed by it, is Bound.
Yeah, might be.
It's so strong. It's such a strong first film. It's incredible.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, that brings us to the end of our first entry.
That's right.
Queer Cinema Month.
That's right. Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Be proud.
So, what are we talking about next?
Yeah.
Because I believe Alexis had a recommendation last week that I could get behind, which is a film that I've seen and would be very down to rewatch because I haven't seen it since I was very young.
Ooh, what is it?
Alexis recommended Paris is Burning.
Paris is Burning. Okay.
Yeah, that was
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that was actually a suggestion from my coworker on the last movie that I was working on. They are also they're a gay woman, and so they were like, "Oh, well, why don't you do Paris is Burning?" And I was like, that is an idea for sure.
Are we all good with that?
I've never seen it. I'd be down to watch it.
Wonderful. All right. Well, then, yeah.
What year is that from?
Next week's movie will be Paris is Burning.
1990. 1990.
It's a 1990 documentary directed by Jenny Livingston.
We're still in the 90s.
And you can find it on HBO Max, which is now fucking Max, which is so stupid.
Yeah, that's
I had to
of the
download
guy.
a whole different app. It was, then I didn't even have to re-log in. It was so weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
David, today's episode is not brought to you by Max. It is not brought to you by Max.
It is brought to you by the continued strikes in Hollywood. We're going to have donation links in the show notes for this again.
That's right.
All power to the workers.
All power to the workers. I myself must go back to work after this.
Indeed.
The greater good.
The greater good. So yeah, that's where you can find Paris is Burning. And if you want to find us on social media, you can find us at Film Majors Pod on Instagram and TikTok. And keep on sending in those recommendations for queer films that I could pick for my week.
Yes.
You can both drop them in the comments on this episode, or you can send them in to our email, filmmajorspod@gmail.com.
Please write us, folks.
Yeah, send us something in.
You are why we do what we do. Well, it's also movies, but it's the fans as well. Fans and movies.
Love it.
All right, folks.
All right.
We'll see you next week.